everyone, it's Dr. T with some wonderful information about earthing, earth grounding, and in case you haven't heard, well, I get to be the first one to talk about it, so that's pretty cool. So you get to hear it from the horse's mouth. So basically what it is connecting with the earth, because the earth is giving off free electrons, negative ions. So what we like to do, what Timber likes to do, and what I like to do, is to walk barefoot. So as you can see, I'm walking barefoot, and Timber is also walking barefoot. Hey buddy, you don't wear any rubber shoes, plastic foam or rubber insulated footwear, do you? No. So essentially what it is that when we are connecting ourselves with the earth, we're absorbing free electrons, negative ions, anions it's called. And essentially this is what actually removes inflammation out of the body. So pain has a positive charge. That's a positive ion called a cation. And inflammation has more positive ions, more cations. And it also has more acidosis, more acidic pH blood. So we'd like to have the blood pH between a 7.35 to 4.5. So that type of pH is optimal, 7.35 to 4.5. And a person can take litmus paper and place that litmus paper on your tongue, get some saliva on your litmus paper, less than 10 seconds, you'll have yourself a pH reading based on the color scale. So I've rarely seen people around 8. 8 is pretty high. Usually people have a lot of inflammation, especially if they're in plastic foam or rubber insulated footwear, which prevents negative ions from penetrating through to even reach the body. So there's a couple other things I'd like to share here. So this video is called The Grounded. Could it happen to you? So you can find this one actually even online. I recommend Googling it. Just put it in a search engine like Google and take a look, see if you can find that one. And then there's also this book called Earthing, the Most Important Health Discovery Ever. And that's by Clinton Ober, Stephen Sinatra, and Martin Zucker. Alright, so there's some things for you to check out. I like to promote information that's life enhancing here. Excellent. So you'll find there'll be studies on how earthing actually lowers cortisol levels. And I'd like to discuss that actually. So the adrenal glands actually, they release adrenaline when there's a fight or flight stress response, such as running away from a threat or fighting off a threat. And so what happens is the rest and digest functions become inhibited or suppressed, and the fight and flight take over and dominate. So what happens is more blood and oxygen goes out to the brain and the muscles and not to the digestive system. And so for a lot of people, they're having chronic stress, physical, chemical, emotional stress, environmental stress. And what that does is it actually prevents them from digesting food. And so they have irritable bowel syndrome, loose stools, diarrhea, gas, nausea, bloating, heartburn, acid reflux, you name it, the whole gamut. So it's as simple as getting the proper amount of balance of negative ions back into the body. And of course, I'm sure you've heard this, that the best things in life are free. So here we go, we've got another thing that we can do absolutely free, walking barefoot. And another thing is, when the earth is damp, so for example, I like coming out, you can see the moisture in the ground here. See how there's moisture in the ground. And actually best is, see the dew in the grass here? The dew in the grass. That's more conductive. So if you can walk on wet grass or wet sand or wet ground, wet earth, it's more conductive, so you will actually absorb a lot more that way. There'll be less resistance and you'll absorb more negative ions. So there we go, and you'll see when you do absorb the free electrons from the earth, pain will be eliminated. You'll find that you'll have more energy. Cortisol levels will decrease. So actually the adrenal glands produce cortisol after the adrenaline wears off, and cortisol is actually an anti-inflammatory that the body produces. So just imagine though, if the body's in constant inflammation repetitively over time, it's like whipping a tired horse, calling for more and more cortisol from the adrenal glands. Eventually the adrenal glands get burnt out. That's called adrenal fatigue or adrenal exhaustion. And that I do a quick test called Ragland's test, taking blood pressure lying down and standing up and observing the systolic measurements. So if you need to do adrenal testing, it's as simple as taking your blood pressure lying down and standing up. So there you go. The adrenals become fatigued when there's too much inflammation and they're overstimulated for cortisol. So I'm sure you've heard of cortisone shots and people receiving cortisone injections. Well, yeah, your own adrenal glands produce cortisol, which is converted into cortisone naturally. So I'm sure someone's going to comment and they're going to be curious and ask questions. Hey, what's Dr. T wearing? What's that necklace that he's got on there? So this device that I'm wearing, I have them up on my website, by the way, guidingneedleacupuncture.com. This device is called a nuclear receptor, and it was actually invented by Dr.Fred Bell, who's a former NASA scientist, and so he's an aerospace scientist. He actually worked on the Saturn rocket with Wernher von Braun, and so this device, it has 144 pyramids on it. You can see here the pyramids are split in the middle. So when you have a pyramid that's right side up with the apex up, it's generating masculine energy. That's the North Pole of a magnet. When you invert the pyramid so you have the apex pointing down, it does the exact opposite. It gives off the feminine energy, which would be the South Pole of a magnet. When you nest pyramids together, so you get a Star of David effect. The Star of David is two pyramids nested within each other. Then you get a synthesis. And there's a lot of barking. Those dogs are fired up, I'll tell you. The good news is they're doing their job, so that's good. Anyway, so about the nested pyramids, that's the Star of David, and then you've got the balance of male and female. That's the Tai Chi. So basically, to create a scalar wave, when you have a masculine and a feminine, they'll collapse into each other and cancel each other out, and they'll create a scalar wave as a result. And a scalar wave is a wave packet that carries information to a target. So in this case, in the nuclear receptor, there is a gemstone in the bridge, and the gemstone corresponds to a frequency that's intelligence to basically program the hydrogen atoms of the body. So one tests to find out, using applied kinesiology, what is the weakest frequency in the aura of the body, the electromagnetic aura of the wearer. And then put that corresponding stone into the bridge of the receptor. So on my website there's an applied kinesiology test, and you can see how to do that muscle testing there to determine the correct frequency of the gemstone filter, the correct gemstone. And then what it does is the intelligence of that gemstone then is amplified by the Cassegrain dish. You'll see 144 pyramids in a Fibonacci spiral vortex towards the center. It's got a sacred geometry vortex. And then on the back, there's a Yanin mantra vortexing in one direction. So that that creates the spin. So it actually creates the right spin there. It sends that information, that intelligence of that gemstone, into the aura of the wearer. And so then there's a quantum entanglement effect that happens, where now the weakest frequency of the cells of the hydrogen atom becomes the strongest. And then in 6 months again you do a muscle test and you find out what is the next weakest frequency of the hydrogen atom to work on, change out the gemstone with a different one that corresponds to the weakest, and then you keep on strengthening your body that way. Anyway, it's a homeopathic device. It's a functional jewelry. This is very effective, and it converts negative electrical precursing energies such as stress and pollution and electromagnetic fields, radiation, into positive electrical precursing energies, feelings of well-being, euphoria, relaxation, creativity. So yeah, check those out if you're interested. And we got a couple barking dogs. What do you think of that, Timber? Getting some lip service? Alright. So anyway, those are called nuclear receptors, and you'll find them on guidingneedleacupuncture.com. And you'll also find how to do the kinesiology testing. If you're really interested, you can ask me about it too. You can email me at guidingneedleacupuncture@gmail.com for more information about nuclear receptors. But hey, this is free information about the earthing, and it's a beautiful day. So just thought I'd share that, and also recommend checking out my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. I've got Pinterest and Twitter account that I frequently upload to. So check out those pages. I've got a free subscription for email newsletter that's on guidingneedleacupuncture.com as well. So check it out, and I really appreciate your support, and thanks for putting yourself first, strengthening your wellness, maintaining robust health and vitality. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.